Today we're going to make a tessellation using Geogebra and Pages. So we can go ahead and type in Geogebra. You can do geogebra.org to go straight to the page, or just search for Geogebra and it'll come up. So we're going to tap on that. Once you get to their home screen, we're going to hit the Start Calculator. You see the purple button down there, and it'll bring you to this. We don't need the calculator stuff at the bottom, so I'm going to close that out. The work areas here to the right, we don't need the grid or the axes, so I'm going to tap on the gear in the top right-hand corner, the settings button. I'm going to tap Show Axes to get rid of the axes. I'm going to tap the settings again. Where we have the Show Grid, I'm going to hit that drop-down menu and change it to No Grid, so it clears everything. Next, on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the tools. This is where we're going to live the rest of the time. So we have the basic tools. We're going to make a tessellation out of a rectangle. So I'm going to show you how to construct a rectangle that we need. So we're going to go down to lines. First thing we're going to do is tap on the line. And anytime you tap on a tool, it pops up how to use that tool. So for line, it says select 2 points or positions. We just have to tap on the screen in 2 different spots. Made a line. If you know anything about rectangles, rectangles have 4 90-degree angles. So if you look above the lines at the construct, there's a perpendicular line. Perpendicular means it forms a 90-degree angle. So perpendicular line says select a line and a point. So if I tap on the line, and let's make it go through point B, we're going to get a perpendicular line. If I scroll up to the basic tools to move, you will notice how no matter where I move point A or point B, that stays as a 90-degree angle. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to make a perpendicular line through point A. And now we need one more side. We can do a perpendicular line if we wanted, like this. So there's a perpendicular line. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to show you a different tool, a parallel line, because we also know that in rectangles, opposite sides are parallel. So I'm going to select the first line that we made and a point on that line. And now we got a rectangle. And once again, you can see we can move these points however we want, and it's going to stay a rectangle. I want that 4th point down there. So I'm going to go to this intersect tool, and it says select 2 objects successfully. So one right after another. So I'm going to tap that line and the line it intersects with. And now there's my 4th point. I don't want these lines here though. All right. So to get rid of the lines, we're going to hide them. We're just going to tap on any of the lines. And we're going to hit the 3 dots, and it's going to bring up a menu. We want to go to Settings. And we'll see the 2 selected boxes, Show Object and Show Label. So label is the name, like line F, line I. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of the object itself. So it's still there. We just kind of hit it. And we're going to do the same thing for the other 3 lines. So we just have the points remaining. So select the 3 dots, Settings, deselect those options, and from here we can just go ahead and select the other lines and do the same thing. I'm going to hit that X in the top right hand corner, and now we have a rectangle. And once again, we can move these however we want, and we have a perfect rectangle. Once we have a rectangle, we've got to start getting creative with the art. So on the left-hand side with the tools, we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. We're going to hit More, and we're going to go down to the bottom again to Pen. And we're going to do some freehand stuff. Don't go crazy, but definitely don't just do a straight line. So the first thing that we're going to do is draw a line from, or draw some kind of curve from A to C. You can do this as many times as you want until you get something that you like. If you don't like this, just hit the undo button. Couple tips, make sure you try to get precise to where C is. So right there, I'm not right at C. Same thing like with A, like don't start there. We got to try to get as close to it as possible. If it's not perfect, not that big of a deal. So I'm going to do something like that. All right, so like I'm not perfectly on A, but that's not a huge deal. It's close enough. So the next thing, because we want to make the left side of the rectangle fit into the right-hand side of the rectangle, we're going to use a rigid transformation. So we're going to translate this. Now, if you look at it, it says select the object to translate, then vector. A vector tells us a distance and a direction. So the order in which we tap matters. So we want to select the line that we just drew, or the curve we just drew. And then I want to go from left to right. So I have to tap A and then B. So I'm going to tap point A and then B. And it'll translate that side perfectly to the other side. Now, like the lines earlier, we don't want to see this vector. So I'm going to use the move tool, select it, and I'm going to go ahead and hide it. All right. Next, we're going to do a similar thing with the top and bottom of the rectangle, because we're just going to use translations to fit this together for the tessellation. Couple things here. We want to make sure that we avoid overlaps. So I want to make sure, sorry about the dogs. I want to make sure that I don't do something crazy like this. We can't have that kind of overlap. So I clearly am going to undo that. Also, we have to be careful that when we're doing this, when we translate it, to make sure the translation doesn't have an overlap. So hopefully you'll kind of see here that if I translate this, so I select the object and I want to go down this time. So from A to C, I would tap A first and down to C, and you will notice how we've got this overlap down here. So that's not good. So I have to undo that as well. And once again, you can do this as many times as you want until you get something that you kind of like. It's very difficult to make a tessellation a certain shape that you want. I recommend just drawing something and then trying to figure out what it might look like. So let's see what happens when I translate this. So select the object, down from A to C. I got a tiny little overlap down here at D. I'm not that concerned about it. If I want to fix, I would just have to kind of go down a little bit at B. So let me go ahead. So instead of going up, maybe go down a little bit. And now let's go ahead and translate that. And now you'll see like I don't have that overlap anymore down here. That's pretty good. Once again, we're going to hide that vector. We don't need that. And we also don't want the points. So I'm going to go ahead and hide the points as well. I don't know where E and F came from. Let's delete those. And then we're going to hide all of these other ones. So tap on C, tap on A, and then there was one more here at B. And now we have officially created an object that will tessellate. So we can cover up an entire plane with no gaps or no overlaps. And now we also got to start thinking, well, what does this look like? It's like one of those ink blot tests. Like, what do you see? Do you see a bird? Do you see a bat? Do you see something else? It doesn't necessarily have to be one thing. You can kind of combine it to a couple other things. I'm not going to lie. My daughter rides horses. I'm kind of seeing a horse head here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot here. So I got a screenshot. And now we're going to get a little creative. We're going to crop this down to just what we need. Get rid of all the other stuff. Trying to get rid of that undo button, but that looks to be a lost cause. Save it to photos, and now we're going to go in and edit it a little bit and play around. So go into photos. You're probably going to see a few other ones that I've been working on. So here's the most recent. So I'm going to go to the edit button. I'm going to start marking some things up here. First thing I want to do is I want to cover up that undo button. That's driving me a little insane. Looks like I might just have to use some white and color over it. I thought I could maybe erase it, but it's not working. Oops. There we go. All right. So I got that taken care of. Now, how do I make this look like a horse? So I'm going to start using my tools. I'm going to start drawing some things. I don't want to bore you with how long this is going to take me to go. If you want to take your time and make it really cool, by all means, take your time and make it really cool. So I'll give you a little preview of my thought process here, trying to make this into a horse. Looks like we can maybe put a big eye here. Maybe get him a little mane. Go brown. Those are called the forelocks. Little mane action here. When you're coloring, you want to make sure that you stay inside the lines to make sure that it tessellates. This is a weird piece down here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know. Maybe I'll make this something hanging out of his mouth, like a piece of hay or grass or something. We'll see. But once again, I'm gonna stop the recording and then show you the finished product. So here's the finished project of what I wanted to go with. So I got a little horse eating some hay, put a little bridle on him and a little red rein. So now what I got to do is make the actual tessellation. And to do that, we're going to use Apple Pages. So it's this little orange pen thing in the bottom right-hand corner, or you can search for Pages by swiping down, selecting Pages. This is one that I was working on earlier, but you can either go to start writing, choose a template. You want to start off with something blank. So a couple formatting issues that we've got to talk about while we're doing this. First of all, we got to get our picture in there. So we're going to tap the picture icon, insert photo or video, and we're going to go to the photo that we just made. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. All right, now before we start copying and pasting this, there's a couple things that we have to do. This little paintbrush is the formatting tool. First thing that we want to do is where it has move text, we want to get rid of that. If we don't get rid of that, then it's going to jump around all over the place. In fact, maybe I can show you here. So if I copy and then tap the screen again to paste, see how it jumps around? We don't want that. So to get rid of that, once again, we tap on the picture, the paintbrush, and we turn off the move with text. Another thing we should do, text wrap, make it none. So that way there's no space. Before we copy and paste, the other thing we got to do is with the image, we want to remove the background. So when we remove the background, we're going to drag over it. So you see everything light blue, that's going to be removed. So it's going to leave just the figure that we want to tessellate only. So we're going to hit done. And now we can start the copy and paste process. So we tap on our picture, hit copy, tap again on the screen, hit paste, and we line things up right where they need to go. Now a little trick, if you have a working keyboard, if I'm off a little bit, so right now I'm dragging this with my finger, but if I'm off a little bit, I can take my finger off and use the arrows on my keyboard to get it pretty much right where it needs to be. There. And then I'm going to paste again, go to the front, Once again, I'm using the keyboard, paste again. And this is a tessellation, which means it can cover the entire plane with no gaps or overlap. So we want to make sure that we go right to the end. And overlap. So it's okay that we don't have the whole entire horse showing. Same thing on the right-hand side. Drag this over. And once again, it's okay that we don't have the entire horse showing. It's got to cover the entire plane. So we keep doing this process. Little trick here. When I tap this, I'm going to hit select objects. And when I do that, I can select the whole row here. I'm going to hit done, and I can copy a whole entire row and paste. And now I don't have to do one at a time. I can put the whole entire row in there, and that's going to save me a ton of time here. I wish I would have gone more to the lines because I got some white in there. Although I kind of like it that it separates the horses a little bit. So I'm going to paste again. I'm going to go all the way to the top once again. Covers the entire plane. So it's okay that it's cut off. Put some at the bottom. And I need more at the bottom. I want to cover the whole entire page. So right now you see I've gone to the top, I've gone left and right. So I got to finish going all the way down to the bottom. My paste option is not showing up. So I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut. I'm going to hit Command V, and now another row pops up for me. Slide that into place. Got maybe 2 more rows that I might need. Drag them down. And just one more should do it. There we go. So now you see I've got an entire tessellation. It's covering the whole entire page. I accidentally dragged that one, so I'm just going to hit the undo button to get it back into place. And I've created a tessellation of a horse eating hay. So this is what you're going to be graded on. Can you create the figure that tessellates, so it covers a whole entire plane with no gaps or overlaps, and then actually create that tessellation, making sure that you go to the very edge of the top, bottom, left, and right of that page, and that is what you are going to share with me. Have fun, good luck, I can't wait to see what you create.